You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Powered by Seahawks.com. Now, here's your host, Nasser Kyobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. The Seahawks beat down the 49ers.
Yes, sir.
41-6 bump. And honestly, we thought about it. We didn't want to say it was going to be a blowout because we want to put that out there before the game, but we thought it was going to be a blowout. And I just think back to a couple weeks ago, we were talking about that game. That was a beatdown as well, but it was 13-3. You know, it was only a 10-point game. This, oh my goodness, it was decided. Offense, defense, special teams, pregame, postgame, on the scoreboard, everywhere you look. This was the Seahawks' biggest margin of victory in the playoffs since Super Bowl 48.
That's wild.
35-point win dating back to 2005. Seattle has an 11-game home win streak in the postseason with fans in attendance, and the Seahawks advance to their 5th championship Sunday. Great time to be live, bro.
Hey, man, I've been with this team since, 2017? First time I got to experience a championship weekend. This is going to be a good one. Excited. They've earned it, and we know who we got.
Yeah, I mean, it's fitting this way, right? Yeah. This is how it should be. You had to go through the 49ers. You have to go through the Rams to get to where you want to go. It makes sense. It's always been about owning this division. It's been the best division in football. So, but before we get into the bump, there was so much noise, right? Is Sam going to play? Oh, my goodness, he's not out for warm-ups.
Warming up.
He hasn't thrown a ball all week and all some of this other stuff, 48 hours, whatever it is, which is in line. For one, Sam's a warrior. He's not going to get the credit outside of these walls that he should after what he did. We're going to talk about him extensively. But, Bump, that was one of the best atmospheres I've been at a game since back in 2013-14.
Bro, it was so loud in there, it was shaking. And I'm from California, so I'm like earthquake.
Yeah, I saw your eyes after
you know what I mean?
Return.
Yes. that had me shook a little bit. But no, it's the loudest I've ever heard it in there, man. And I'm so glad that I walked into the booth where you guys were at and not in the press box, because I wanted to hear and feel it. In the press box, it's muted a bit. You don't really hear the crowd.
Yeah.
But windows were open, 12s were loud, hardly any Niner fans there, too.
It was shout out 12s, man.
Yeah,
you didn't sell your tickets that you were supposed to do. It was a great game. Let's get right into it. What had happened?
See, what had happened was
On Hawk Talk.
Bump, every week, I think in our path to victory, I talk about starting fast.
Yep.
And
it's the fastest
Saturday,
you can start.
Yeah, it's about the best case scenario you can imagine. For that atmosphere, we talked about it. It was insane. The game slid 10 minutes because of the game ahead of it.
Right.
So you had people in their seats ready to rock. 10 minutes before kickoff, it was loud, opening kickoff, and then again, the building was shaking. Right off top, for some reason, Eddie Pinheiro kicks it to the best returner in the game. He runs it back 95 yards for a touchdown that made the score 7-0, 95 yards, the longest postseason return touchdown on kickoff in franchise history.
And that was just the beginning, man. On the ensuing drive, the 49ers were facing a 4th and 1 on the Seattle 40. Mike McDonald didn't like something, so he called a timeout. That was a big moment. We were talking about that in that moment. Like, all right, he saw something he didn't like. I think they motioned, got into empty or something like that. He didn't like it. He calls timeout. And then I got so much respect for Kyle Shanahan. This was probably the worst play call I've seen from him. You hand the ball to your fullback. He's optioning to Christian McCaffrey. You've overloaded the boundary side. You're running it to the boundary. There's no space over there on that 4th and 1, and they got shut down. I was surprised that was the play call he went with.
I was surprised as well. And if you're a Husky fan, and Bump, you were there, Cougs, it takes me back to the Apple Cup a couple years ago. To the boundary, obviously it's not high school or college, so the hashes aren't as big of a difference. Right. But still, it was an interesting call, but the Seahawks D-line was ready for it. Shut it down, and that was just kind of a precursor of what was going to go on that game. Seahawks would settle for a field goal on their next drive after 11 plays. That made the score 10-0. Then 2 plays later, Jake Tonjes, 11-yard gain. What happens? Ernest Jones strips him. Ball comes out. Julian Love recovers the ball. And 5 plays later, Sam Darnold finds JSN backcourt end zone. 4-yard touchdown. We'll break that play down a little bit later. That made the score 17-0 in the first quarter.
First quarter, man. It was live in there early. The Niners will respond with back-to-back field goals to bring the score within 11. It was 17-6. But then the Hawks go on a 10-play, 80-yard drive, ending with a 7-yard touchdown run by K9. K9 had himself a day 3 of them things. That made the score 24-6, and it was kept alive by a 16-yard reception from Jake Bobo. Nice little slant on 3rd and 10.
No, love it. And another name that unsung hero, if you will, that you haven't heard from a lot this year, but Jake making a big play because the game was still 11 points. It's still a game there. A 3rd down, you kick a field goal. The Niners kind of feel still like they're in it. And instead, you go 24-6, and things are rolling there. Both teams going to the locker room with the Seahawks up 18. First drive, huge drive for both teams. The Niners were desperate. They go for on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 from the Seattle 44. What happens? Brock Purdy sacked by Leonard Williams. He makes a huge move, 14-yard loss. He talked about a post-game how got some advice from Gray Zabel about how to attack that thing, which is great. Shows you how close this team is. The Seahawks would add a field goal on their next drive and then intercept Brock Purdy. Just 2 plays later, Ernest Jones, thank you.
All-pro Ernest Jones making his presence felt out there. The Hawks would keep pouring it on, man, going 47 yards on 6 plays, ending with a 15-yard touchdown run from K9, number 2 of the day. That made the score 34-6. The Niners, they would turn the ball over on downs the next possession. Then the Seahawks would put the final nail in the coffin. K9 with his 3rd touchdown of the day. His second 3-touchdown game of his career. The last one was in 2024, I think week 2 against the Detroit Lions, I want to say. But K9 put him up 41-6.
No, I mean, and speaking of K9, love what we saw from him. We're going to talk about him in Playmakers, but this was, again, domination, right? The Seahawks, but when you look at some stats, they only outgained the Niners 281 to 236.
Right.
Time possession was close, 31-11 to 28-49, 19 first downs to 15 first downs. Difference, turnovers.
Yep.
3 turnovers, 3 turnover on downs. Those might as well be turnovers. And here's a couple things about that I want to throw out there. So I think I've heard a lot about the 49ers injuries, and it's true. You want Kittle out there. You want all those guys out there. They're really good football players. I understand that. But listen to this. This should make you feel a certain type of way.
All right.
This is from ESPN's Ben Solak. In 9 seasons as head coach, Kyle Shanahan teams have been held under 7 points only 4 times. 2 of those happened the last 3 weeks against the Seahawks.
Let's go.
He's had a lot of talented teams, and I don't care who's out there. For you to get that happening 2 games in a row, 8 quarters, 0 touchdowns. And then also, you want to hear their drive chart bump? Downs, fumble, field goal, end of half, downs, interception, downs, fumble, punt, end of game.
Yeah. Hey, domination. You know what's funny about that is you look at these stats, right? The 281 yards to 236. Those numbers feel like it should match the score the last time these guys played. And then those stats from that game feels like it should match this game with 41 points being scored. But like you said I've been a coordinator at a lower level. And when you get shut out, you ain't touching the paint, you ain't getting in the end zone for 2 games against a team, it's demoralizing. So big ups to Mike McDonald in that defense. Them boys is playing.
And I also played at a lower level, and I've been on the other side. When you give up a bunch of points, it feels just as bad. So that was a beat down again. Doesn't get much better than that against your division rival. You end their season. You march on to the NFC title game. Bump. We've been talking about this kind of all year. What'd you learn? It's hard to learn new things about this team as long as we've been doing it, but what'd you learn on Saturday?
Just reaffirm that this is a complete team. You got a score on special teams. When you score on a kick return in the NFL, you win that game 90 to 92% of the time. You score on a punt return about 80 to 85%. You score any non-offensive touchdown, you win 85 to 90% of the time. So technically, as soon as that kickoff was to the house, the game was over. But no, I just it's just reassure that this is a complete team. What kind of game do you want? High scoring, we got you. Low scoring, we got you. Defense, special teams, on point. Myers would have bounced back too.
And the confidence you have in this defense, that would have done it. If Sam Darnold throws the ball into the ground every single play, they still win that game.
They still win that game.
Which is absolutely insane. Let's get to these playmakers because there's a whole lot of them.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Playmakers.
Show them what time it is! Holy catfish!
Starting off with Ken Walker, we talked about him. 19 carries, 116 yards, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. Second time in a row, he did that against these 49ers, did that in Week 18 as well. 3 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 29 yards, and his 3 rushing touchdowns ties a franchise record. Sean Alexander with 3 touchdowns in the playoffs against Green Bay in 2003. So what we're seeing, Bump, we talked to excruciating length about this run game, what we've seen from it. It's at its best right now, and also, condolences, Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah.
He's going to miss the rest of the year, which is incredibly big blow to this team, the way that running back room has been handled. So I feel for Zach because he's been killing it. Double-digit touchdowns. He's part of the identity of this football team. But if I try to spin this positively, it was cool to see Ken Walker do what we know he's capable of and show where this running game is, O-line. It's great to see from that room.
Yeah, big ups to Charbonnet, man. You are part of the identity of this football team. But I feel like the Hawks should be okay just because of what we've seen from K9 towards the end of the season. Let's talk about Sam Darnold. He was 12 of 17 for 124, 1 touchdown, a QB rating of 110.9. His first playoff win. Can y'all stop talking about that now? All right? He can win these games. Played through the oblique injury, right? Everyone's worried about, is he going to be able to throw the football? I was watching a couple of his throws in the warm-up. He wasn't really letting it loose, so I'm like, okay, we'll see what it looks like. But as soon as he made that play to Cooper Kupp, that corner throw going towards the south end zone, I was like, all right, my man's going to be good to go. He performed great, man, and you got to give this man some credit and some love. The national media is not going to do it, so we'll take care of him here in Seattle.
Yeah, the conversation is the same. I'm watching SportsCenter, watching a couple different shows to get the perspective. Obviously, the Seahawks defense has arrived nationally. We've known that for a long time.
Right.
Nationally, people are starting to understand that, but people are still questioning this man. And I love it because we talked about this during the game, I think, at some point. In the lead-up, it was all about Sam.
Right.
Like, well, is he going to make the big mistake, this and that? Okay, the second there was a hinge of like, oh, my gosh, is he not going to play on Thursday? People's attitudes completely changed. So which one is it? It looks like he's actually pretty darn important what this team's doing. Come on, man. I don't got time for all that nonsense.
You need 14, baby. Come on.
Looking at other playmakers, Rashid Shaheed, John Schneider, my goodness. The rest of the personnel staff, this was the best trade in the National Football League, bar none. It is not close. 95-yard kickoff return set the tone. His third return touchdown of the season. 2 carries, 27 yards, another big end around. Again, you've been talking about, I think it's going to happen in the pass game at some point once they get on the same page, but Rashid Shaheed just finding ways to impact the game. Yeah,
man, he's a special tool out there, man. There's no one like him in the league right now, and I'm just glad that the NFL has kind of brought the return game back into play, too, because without that, where would she be? And also, I love the scheme that they're doing on the kick returns now. At first, there were 2 returners back there. They've gotten rid of one returner, added another body, and put him in the blocking scheme when it comes to the return game. So big adjustments over there. I like it. Ernest Jones, 6 tackles, 1 interception, 1 pass defended. Just a typical day for Ernest Jones. 6 interceptions this year so far for the all-pro guy. His first forced fumble. I felt like he had a couple forced fumbles already, but that was his first one of the year. Ernest Jones making plays.
Always. You can expect that from 13, one of the captains of these teams, when he's always doing his thing. So I love to see that. And DeMarcus Lawrence, man. Whatever you're doing, DeMarcus, I want some because the time machine, whatever it is, 3 tackles, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 1 pass defended, 2 forced fumbles, 3 quarterback hits. And there's some photos out there, obviously, when he's coming around the edge, about to sack Purdy, full extension, knocks that ball out. He is just playing at an unbelievable level. No one could have expected this, and the consistency that he's doing it, it's unreal.
Yeah, he has a motor. He's got a young man's motor. He's been in the league over a decade, so keep it up, D-Law. You got Leo. He had 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 2 quarterback hits. Again, it's at this point of the year, Nas, it's like it feels like we're reading the same stat sheet every single week with these guys, man.
Yeah.
Guys like D-Law and Leo always get in the backfield causing havoc.
This dark side, man.
Dark side.
I'm telling you, when you break the huddle and you see Leo, Jay Reed, Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, Chenna Nwosu, Derek Hall.
Problems.
Yeah, that's a problem. And then just shout out defense as a whole. Held the Niners to 6 points. 0 touchdowns in the 49ers, 2 games, 8 quarters. Held the Niners to over 3 and 4th down. Christian McCaffrey, I know he's a little banged up, but he's still an elite football player.
Yeah.
74 total yards. He was doing his thing against the Eagles, so there's something changed there. Held Brock Purdy to 54.6 QB rating. And honestly, for what was going on, he played pretty well.
Yeah.
He's the only reason they score any kind of points. He was running for his life, doing his thing. Dark side just came to play, and they've been at it all year long. Bump, it wasn't a big pass game, but let's go over what we saw in the receiver roundup real quick.
Cooper Kupp, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 60 yards. Kenneth Walker had 3 for 29. JSN had 3 for 19, but did have a clutch touchdown in the back of the end zone. Jake Bobo had a big catch, 1 catch for 16 yards. Hey, not an explosive day, but a good enough day to get that W.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the plays of the game. Honestly, I could have gone anywhere with this. Could have started with Shaheed, could have gone through a lot of them, but I'll tell you why we picked these specific plays. But we're going to start this first one, Sam Darnold connecting with Jackson Smith-Njigba for the 4-yard touchdown.
2 tight ends in the game for Darnold, who goes under center. Walker, the single setback. Play fake to him. Sam is going to roll left. Looking. Sam throws. Back of the end zone. Is it caught inbounds? It is! Touchdown! Seahawks! Far back corner of the end zone. Guess who? It is number 11, Jackson Smith-Njigba. And he is waving to the crowd in the south end zone. A perfect pass by Darnold.
All right, Hawks come out. Looks like a balanced formation, 2x2. You got 2 tight ends attached to the line of scrimmage. Cooper Kupp to the left, JSN down at the bottom. Motion A.J. Barner over. It looks like gives you run feels, right? Like you're going to run the football. You got Sam Darnold under center. He reverse pivots out and fakes the handoff to K9. And it looks like the 49ers are in man. You got your tight ends who engage with the edge rushers right there for a bit. Then they release. But it's about JSN and Cooper Kupp. This crossing pattern makes this safety have to decide. But you see Sam Darnold rolling to the left side so that flat defender disengages with the tight end. Now he's getting after the quarterback. Sam, this is where you're going to test that oblique right here, right? You're rolling to your left, your shoulders are close, and you got to put this thing in a spot, and that's exactly what he does. You got JSN, the best crossing route runner in the game, does exactly that, finds a spot in the back of the end zone, and I heard Sam Darnold talk about this. He said, I didn't see the safety running fast enough. For him to process that while there's a defender about to get at you and put this ball in a spot. If you look at the end zone portion of it, JSN ain't even there. He's throwing it to a spot where JSN is going to be, and then number 11 does what he does, makes a tough catch, gets down. Beautiful throw.
I mean, everything you said, nailed it. Darnold again. The reason I picked this play is because I don't think people give him credit for some of the plays that he makes game in and game out. You look at the stats and the box score, didn't look like he had the best game. He made plays like that. With that oblique, that guy that was running and take his head off, D. Winters, pretty good football player, right?
Good baller, yep.
And again, if you freeze it in that end zone shot, when he releases this football, Jason is not open.
No.
To your point, to have the presence of mind to know that, like, hey, I think he said exactly that. He felt the safety demeanor that he wasn't running full speed, and then Jax would beat him to the corner. And then what does he do? I'm going to protect the football, and I'm going to throw it to a place that only JSN can get there. Makes a play, touchdown. The Seahawks are celebrating. Love what we saw there. This next play, and this was really kind of a bookend thing right here. This play, Ken Walker gets into the end zone for the 3rd time on Saturday.
Seattle 3 of 7 on 3rd down. Darnold has Walker beside him. A slot to the left side. The handoff, Walker. He's coming back to the right side. He is going to score. Touchdown, Seahawks. Ken Walker, the 3rd, skips in around the right side. Great blocking. The Niners haven't stopped it yet. His 3rd touchdown of the night. Ken Walker, I think, might get a game ball by the time this is over. And knowing K9, he'll give it to his offensive line.
Man, when you draw it up,
Oh my!
this is exactly what you imagine as a coach. Everybody doing exactly what they're supposed to do. I'm going to start to the right of Sam Darnold. I'm going to look at Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp has done this a lot, right? He's set that edge and allowed Abe Lucas to kind of wrap around. So he's kind of giving him the same look, but you got A.J. Barner attached to the line of scrimmage where Abe Lucas is. So first you got Cooper Kupp. He fakes like he's going to block down just to influence a little bit. Then he gets right up to his corner, bodies on bodies. Now you look at A.J. Barner. Boom, fold block, bam. Get on that outside shoulder, bodies on bodies. Now you got Abe Lucas wrapping around, 49. God bless your heart. You know you're not going to do nothing with Abe Lucas right there. Abe Lucas folds around, wraps around, bam, bodies on bodies. And now we're talking about the backside. Sundell, this is where he shows his athleticism. He snaps the football, then he gets his pull, wraps around AJ, gets up to that second level. He's taking care of the safety. And then you have your left guard. Left guard does a great job climbing to that second level as well. Your left tackle washes things down and beautifully drawn up. K9, all you got to do is follow the big boy. Follow the big boy. He'll take it to the promised land. They're going to highlight this in their meeting for sure if they haven't already.
I picked this play because everything you just said. Back in day 1 of install, when Kubiak's up there putting in the plays, literally this is how you draw it up on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
We were going to score on this play. I mean, literally unbelievable. You mentioned everybody. Jalen Sundell, I think this is the second time we've highlighted him this year. We did it in that very first game against the 49ers, showing off his athleticism. This is unreal. This kind of shows you the caliber you have to be to play center in this offense. Expecting you to get out. You snap the ball and you get out there and you get the safety. That is unbelievable. So shout out Sundell because he's an absolute athlete there. Barner, you got tight ends that want to block. You talked about Abe Lucas coming down. Cooper Kupp removes Lenore from the play. Goodbye. You're not making that. And then I want to highlight backside too. Gray's able. Look at him get to the mic. There's an explosion right there. The mic is reading the play. He shouldn't be able to cut off the mic linebacker on that action right there, but he does. I mean, it is K9 essentially untouched in the end zone. You look at that again. If you're installing this play anywhere, this is what you would show. This is. I would love to ask Kubiak about this play.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly, look at it. This is what we've done in practice. This is what, that looked like it was, everyone who's played football at some point in a walkthrough, you're in it's July or August and you got the garbage cans out there.
Right.
That's what that looked like. I mean,
teach tape, baby.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Beautiful.
I love what we're seeing from this run game. And this football team who whooped up on the San Francisco 49ers 41-6, setting up the greatest formation in football, victory formation.
Here comes the Seahawks offense onto the field and the Vikings defense trudging out there, knowing that one kneel down and the Seahawks are going to wind the clock down and win this one.
It's the victory formation on Hawk Talk.
We'll just keep a good thing going. This team has earned it week after week. Every opportunity from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, OTAs, minicamp, training camp, every single time. Relentless, decisive, shocking. We're seeing that week after week after week, and this is dominating as you are ever going to get. I said earlier, the Niners did have a ton of injuries. I can't completely ignore that. But previous to that, they had won 6 games in a row. They were a problem. They were scoring on people. People forget they had an opportunity to be the 1 seed. That's what that game was like. Right. So as beat up as they were playing for the 1 seed in the playoffs. They lost to Seattle. They beat the defending Super Bowl champions and then came to Lumen Field and got the brakes beaten off. It is what it is. The Seahawks find a way to get it done, and it was impressive.
It was fun to watch, man. It was interesting going into the fourth quarter and not being stressed out. Finding out, okay, who we going to get next week?
In a playoff game.
Rashid, man, he proved why he's the best trade in the NFL. 3rd return of the season. So start a game like that is a tone setter. Imagine, I'm watching the Niners do their little pregame in the tunnel, boombox, bouncing around. 10 minutes later, silence. Rashid to the house, man. That was beautiful. The offense scored 6 of their first 7 possessions. That looked good. The defense forced 3 turnovers on 3 fourth down stops, which was clutch. Just all around good game.
I mean, you score on 6 of 7 offensive possessions. It's just, again, they still have Brock Purdy. They still have Christian McCaffrey. And I'm not disrespecting the Niners. The Niners have been who we've been chasing in the last handful of years, them and the Rams. The tide has turned, coming in now. Guess what? We got the Rams for the NFC Championship. The show for all the marbles. I wouldn't have it any other way. These teams, another chess match, round 3. Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, Rams, Seahawks at Lumen Field on Sunday, 3:30. It's going to be electric atmosphere. But we're going to break it all down on Thursday. Get you ready for that amazing football game. It's going to be a crazy week. A lot going on here at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. He's Michael Bumpus. I'm Nasser Kyobe. This has been Hawk Talk.